Good evening.
Don't
Okay,
forget to subscribe
hi.
to Inspirational Talks with Laura Simmons and Friends. Today is Let's Talk About It Tuesday. Well, our special guest is our very own Laura Simmons.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening. Welcome to Let's Talk About It Tuesday. We got something special in store for you guys today. We got a very special guest. But first, we are going to have some words from Margaret Green, the real estate queen. What you got for us tonight?
Well, I got three steps to buying. I did something I put together this earlier today that I saw, and it's one of the things is income when you're getting ready to buy. What you're earning, it plays a very vital part in what when you get ready to buy. What you can afford, your liabilities, your debt, you owe, existing financial responsibilities, because those things the bank is not even, in some cases, are not even taking into consideration. They're looking at your credit debt, but they're not looking at your everyday debt, like your everyday bills, your utilities, your cable, your cell phone bill, your water bill. Those things, they're not even adding into your debt to income ratio when they're determining how much of a house you can afford. So you have to know exactly what your bills are and what you actually can afford. So you have to already have done your homework and said, okay, this is what I have to spend every month on certain bills. This is what I need. This is what I want to keep my mortgage within this parameter, because this is what I know I can afford. So those are
Mhm.
some of the things you want to definitely take into consideration when you're trying to buy. Other things are to look about is your assets. Do you have any property or anything that you inherited or something that you bought? Things like that. You want to take those into consideration, because they are going to use those to determine if they want to loan you any, if they want to approve you, because sometimes they use those things to gauge whether or not they want to approve you or not, because they're thinking, okay, um, mainly because they want to be able to if they had to come after you for their money, they know that you'll be able to they can sell whatever you have to get whatever they need. So those things you want to take into consideration, but the main thing is to look at your income, look at your everyday bills, and determine what you can actually afford. And then when you go to the bank, no matter what they tell you, because they can tell you you can afford $2,000. But if you know
Right.
you can only afford $1,200, then you need to stick with where you know where you're comfortable at, where you can still save money in the process. And that's
That's
my gold
right.
Right.
nugget for the day.
Hmm.
Oh, that is good
That was
information.
good. That was a good. That was a big nugget right there.
Okay. That was like a gold bar.
Well, thank
Okay.
you very much.
So, everybody, I know I'm trying my best to do a great job for our host. She's such a eloquent host, and I rushed through our introduction. Forgot to say the name of our show is Welcome to Laura Simmons and Friends. So sorry about that, guys, but welcome, welcome, welcome. And of course, like I say, you just heard from Margaret Green, and I also have with me Shawnita J. Montgomery.
Hey
And
everybody.
we are going to have some interesting hot topics from her, and I'm ready to hear it.
Well, let's start out. We're gonna close out Black History Month with our. Well, actually, this isn't the final day of Black History Month, but anyhow, we're coming to a closing. So I thought that Fannie Lou Hamer should get the spotlight today. She was
Okay.
born October the 6th, 1917 in Montgomery County, Mississippi. Fannie Lou Hamer was a civil rights activist who led voting drives and co-founded the Mississippi Freedom Democratic Party. She was the youngest of 20 children. Um,
Woo! Woo! Get busy.
Yes, ma'am. However, there were some unfortunate events in her life. She was unable to bear children of her own due to she had a tumor, but they actually gave her a hysterectomy without her consent.
Oh my
Ooh,
God.
wow.
In the summer of 1962, she attended local meetings by the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, who encouraged African Americans to register to vote. Her involvement in the civil rights put her in harm's way daily. In 1964, Hammer also helped found the Mississippi Democratic Party and announced her bid for Congress. She lost, but her focus remained on voter registration and setting up organizations to increase business opportunities and child care for minorities. She established the National Women's Political Caucus in 1971, and Mrs. Hammer later passed March 14th, 1977.
Oh wow.
But moving right along, we're going to go get into our hot topics. So let's shed light on a couple things. Remember, we were talking about Cardi B and Tasha K.
Mm-hmm.
So Tasha K say, I ain't got it. She ain't got that $3 million.
Well, we said that.
Wow.
But that's gonna still be interesting, huh?
She should have thought about that before she said what she said.
Right.
Well, because of her, allegedly, they're going to start changing the way that they review blogs and what you can and can't report, for reasons like this, getting such a hefty fine. Moving right along, we got Sherri Shepherd is a congratulations in order. We were talking about how she was hosting the Wendy Williams show, and we wondered, if she took over permanently, will they put it in her name or Wendy Williams? Well, Wendy Williams show will be canceled in June.
Yes.
And they will be announcing the Sherri Shepherd show.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well,
and two more things. Keke Wyatt is welcoming her 12th child.
Girl.
Yeah. I was like,
be
Lord,
fruitful, multiply.
I didn't. When I saw that, I was like, oh my goodness. I said, she had that many kids?
She got 12 children. Going to be 12 children. And the cast of Martin was together again for a little reunion. I don't know the details on that, but it looks pretty interesting because everybody was all smiles.
They're gonna televise it, or are they getting together saying they're gonna do a reboot?
Now, because the one who caused the trouble in the first place, that caused the show to break up in the first place, was Tisha Campbell's husband.
Allegedly.
Allegedly, he caused it. So.
But yeah, I mean, they're all smiles, but she's also divorced from Dwayne Martin, which that allegedly was a key component of why that show was a demise, and the jealousy and different things that went on between her and Martin. But her and Martin have reconciled, and they did that. I feel like that was about 2 years ago now. Yeah. And looks like things are on the up and up. One thing I can say is they didn't include Tashina Arnold, which they both remained friends with her throughout that process, which that's pretty dope.
So do y'all think that
is she coming on is she gonna be part of the reunion too?
Yeah, she was in the picture as well.
Oh, okay. I thought you said they didn't include her. I was like, oh, okay, wait a minute.
I heard rumors when the show ended back in the day that her and Martin had like a little relationship.
Who, Tashina or Tisha?
Tisha and Martin.
I did too. Allegedly heard those same rumors, which the clips that certain blogs showed, it kind of made it seem, because there were times she was doing an interview and he pop out and be like, "Oh, that's my lady, my work wife," and stuff like that. And it's kind of like, okay, how they say your work husband. That's like your work. I saw a funny video. A guy said, "Well, I'm calling to ask you what your wife want for Valentine's Day. This her work husband." Could you imagine what your husband? He was like, I'm on my way up there right now.
You got that right.
So it just a certain point where things, I guess, go too far. Like, but the dude who did the skit, it was pretty funny because he was sitting up there folding Victoria's Secret. Talking about something, think she like underwear. Pretty funny.
Right words.
Right. It really is. So I hope everything works out for all of the above. People involved. So, and congratulations again to Keke Wyatt.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but anyway. Well, God bless the child. God bless the child. Thank you, Shanita J, for that Black History moment and those juicy hot topics.
Yes.
Yes.
So, I don't have any really too much to say. I just want to reiterate we're going to get some information out this week about our book club. We talked about it a little bit last week. We're going to make a poster for the book. We're going to use Frederick Beatty's book. Hey y'all, is that Verna? Hey.
Hey, y'all.
We're gonna
Hi,
put the
Sharon.
title of the book, put where you can find it, and we're gonna talk about next Tuesday. We're gonna talk a little bit more about the book club, and what we're gonna do, how we're gonna break it down. If we're gonna choose another day, I don't know if I'm not sure if we're gonna choose another day or if we're just gonna do it. Good evening. Oh, I'm reading it. I'm supposed to.
Somebody named Mr. Crystal Baker. Good evening, ladies. It's Crystal Baker from
Oh, it's the designer, right?
Yes,
Crystal
M. Crystal Baker.
Baker.
Oh,
Hey.
okay. How you doing?
Hey, thanks for joining us.
Yes.
As Monique said, hey
Hey,
Monique.
Nikki. That's my sister-in-law.
Okay, hey sister-in-law.
Hey.
But yeah, so we're gonna talk a little bit more about it because I don't want to spend too much time running my mouth because we got a very, very special guest. I guess you guys noticed that our beautiful hostess is not here because she said this is just
I know that. I said that, Nikki.
oh our hostess is actually our special guest for tonight. We felt it appropriate that since we were celebrating Black History month that we honor our very own legend in the making, Miss Laura Simmons, our host.
Yes.
And I know, yay, look at it.
Yes, look at all that.
And I just want to say a little bit before we bring her out. Laura Simmons is an author. She's a playwright. She's a motivational speaker, a podcaster, actress. Oh, I'm getting tired from saying all this stuff, y'all. She got it going on. Entrepreneur. She's a wife, mother of two. She's a grandmother. She is the CEO and co-owner of Mother Daughter Teen Books LLC. To date, she has written 10 books. She's adapted one of her most well-known books, Little Sisters Listen Up, into a stage play. And she is right now in the makings of creating her, well, not creating, she's already created it, but producing her very first screenplay. I say that she is a mover and a shaker. She's not only a dreamer, but she is, oh, I'm getting chills, y'all. I'm getting chills from because I'm getting emotional. She is one of those people who, when she puts it in the atmosphere, she looks to God for God to give her a hand and to help her with this and show her what she's supposed to be doing. And then she puts, boots to the ground to make it happen. She is one of the hardest working women in this industry that I know, and that is no fluff. Y'all, please give it up for Miss Laura Simmons.
Yay!
Hey,
Hey, you.
Oh, that was so sweet. You know what? I just want to say this before y'all even get started with the interview. These three ladies, I love you guys. You guys are my backbone. It's like I can call either one of y'all if I'm going through something. You got my back, and I truly appreciate y'all. So I just wanted to let you guys know that.
Thank you.
Do no crying, and yes, we appreciate.
I'm not gonna cry
too.
today. I said I wasn't gonna cry.
No crying in the champagne room.
Yeah, no crying in the champagne room. I could drink, but I can't cry.
Hey. Oh Lord, what you drinking? Oh Lord, where that microphone at?
Hey, Crystal.
Thank you so much for coming to your show. Welcome.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yes, honey. It was nothing, really. It was nothing.
We couldn't do it without you. Swear.
Right.
thank, thank you, ladies, for having me on y'all show today.
Yes,
Um,
honey.
so y'all ready to get started with me?
Yeah, we ready. Let me drive. Don't even start because I know she like,
Okay.
I'm a backseat drive. So let
Okay.
me ask you, Miss Laura. Um, so when you hear those things about all of some of the accomplishments you done, what does that make you feel like? Have you ever been listening on your many interviews, when they naming, listing all the things that you've done in your career? Do you ever just sit back like, wow, I did that?
Yeah, I do. Honestly, I do. I remember when I first wrote my first book, I did that. I couldn't believe it. I was like, wow, this is really for real. I really did
Yes.
this. Yeah.
Yes.
And it was so exciting. Yeah, it's exciting to hear that when I have interviews with different people. And actually, I got one after the show today at 8 o'clock tonight. And then I have
See what
one
I'm saying?
tomorrow at 9:30. Um, so yeah, it's exciting. It's an exciting feeling.
That's
So
awesome.
I'm booked up like for the rest of this week, actually, with
That girl say
interviews.
she booked. Do
Booked
not
and
get
busy.
it twisted.
Yeah.
That's the best
We,
way to be.
that's right. We are so proud of you.
Thank you.
Yes, definitely.
Why don't you tell our viewers a little bit more about who Laura Simmons, the author, is?
Well, Laura Simmons, the author, the motivational speaker, the podcast host, the mom, the wife, the grandmother, the sister, the auntie, the uncle.
Uh-oh.
Got
Huh?
y'all.
What?
No.
I got y'all.
Huh?
um,
Like,
uh, I got y'all know that. But anyway, yeah, I do a character. I it's so much stuff, and I'm blessed, and I'm grateful, and it's not a moment that I don't thank God for all the things that He had put before
Amen.
me and allowed me to do, and all the things that He had before me that's coming for me together.
mm-hmm.
Um, and all the things that I have been through and the things that I'm going through. And he just let me know that just because you ran into a patch doesn't mean that I'm not watching you. I don't got you. I'm right
Come
behind
on.
you. I'm holding you up.
Mm-hmm.
And earlier today I was a little emotional and I was telling my daughter, I said, I don't know how this thing gonna go. I don't know how I'm, I'm not going to go into detail about what I'm
Yeah.
going through, but what I'm going to say is that I just thank God because He keeps me grounded. He keeps me comfortable. He keeps me when I feel like giving up,
Mm.
because there's time when Laura felt like giving up,
Yes.
and but I know I got to keep going because I what I have learned from people that have inboxed me, send me emails, that I've got messages from that say, thank you for inspiring me. Thank you for your motivation of you keep going, because that helps me keep going. So when I get those kind of messages, those things make me feel good inside, because it's like, wow, I didn't even think anybody was paying attention. And so when you hear that kind of stuff, it's like, wow, people are listening, and
Mm-hmm.
it's a good feeling. It's a very good feeling.
It's a
That's what's up.
motivation.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I got. Can I?
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
um. As an auntie, what is something that you want to to show your nieces and nephews that keeps you going, and because you have your hand in so many different things.
That's right.
So, what is something that helps you to say, you know what, not only is this, I'm being kind of a role model for my children and my grandkids, but, even to your nieces and nephews,
Hmm.
like what keeps you, what is something, what is some good advice to
Well,
keep them motivated as well.
And
don't
focus.
ever let anyone dim your light. You know, because sometimes people will try to dim your light. They'll try to make you feel little when because it makes them feel better because of the fact that they're dimming, trying to dim your light.
Hmm.
Don't ever let anyone dim your light. No matter what people say, you still keep going. You know, even when you have those naysayers, they're gonna say what they're gonna say. Because I know a few people that said some things to me back a few years back, and those same people is in my inbox today trying to get me to work with them, but
Mm-hmm.
they were the same ones that said some very, very negative and mean stuff to me. But
Mm-hmm.
I don't, I forgive you, but I don't forget.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So but I didn't let that stop me. So that's why I'm saying, don't ever let anyone dim your light. When you know that you are worth something or you have something that you want to do, go for it no matter what. And don't worry about what people gonna say, because people gonna talk, they're gonna say all kinds of stuff to you. You just prepare yourself for that, because they will. They will say some of the negative things, so many negative things to you, and so many rude and evil things to you. But you have to put your blinders on and say, mm, keep moving forward, because that's the only way you're gonna get to where you're trying to get to.
Stay in
Okay.
focus.
Hmm.
That's great. That's great advice.
I have a question.
Hmm.
Okay, in growing up, and what has been your most inspiration from what you were taught over the years from your parents, from your siblings, and from your children, and from your grandchildren? Because there's every level you learn something from the beginning to where you are now. So, what are the things that you have taken, that you've learned in every situation to get you to this point right now?
Focus. Um,
Very important. Yeah.
Focus was one. The love that I received from my parents, my siblings, my children, my grandchildren, my niece, my nephews. And it's amazing. It is so amazing when you receive a message from one of your nephews or one of your nieces and they tell you, Auntie, I'm so proud of you. That is a very good feeling. When
Hmm.
your kids tell you, Mama, I'm proud of you,
Hmm.
that's a good feeling. You know,
Yeah.
just to hear somebody, that somebody is really paying attention to what you are doing, that's a very, very good feeling.
Yeah. I
And
can
Mm-hmm.
imagine. I
that's
can.
what helps me. That's what helps me, and that's what I think about. I think I could, a lot of times, I could hear my mom and my dad in my ears a lot of times when I want to just give up. I could tell just as good when I'm in one of those down moods. I could tell just as good when my dad is around. I smell smoke in the room. I
Mhm.
Oh
smell
wow.
cigarettes, and then I know that he's telling me, get up and get back on that horse and keep on going.
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
that's what keeps me going.
Yeah. That's very
Wow.
important. Because one thing I've learned over the years is that keeping God first is the main thing, and that in anybody's arsenal. If you don't put God first, you ain't going nowhere.
Exactly.
So that's the main force, and that's commendable for you, because that's some things that some people think that they can make it on their own, and then when they hit bottom, then they're going, well, I don't understand. Well, you didn't put God first.
Yeah.
So good. So that's a good thing, that you keep God first in what you do. And so what is it? What was your motivation behind your books? Little Sister Listen Up and Little Brothers Hear Me Out. What was some of the things that made you write those books, and what was the inspiration behind it?
Okay, so with Little Sisters Listen Up, um, I originally, it started off with a prayer, because I originally was praying and I was talking to God and I was telling him that I wanted to write a book. but I didn't know where to begin because my daughter had got to that age where, you know, she don't want to write anymore. She was to that age where she got tired of writing. She was like, okay, I need a break. So I
Mhm.
started saying, I'm like, Lord, now what do I do now? I mean, um, if I write a book, what do I write about? I don't even know where to begin. So I prayed on it, meditated on it. I talked to the Lord out loud. And one night it started 4 a.m. every morning, same time, 4 a.m. The Lord will wake me up. And I had this notepad by my bed, the side of my bed, and a pen on the side of my bed. And every morning when he wake me up, he would give me some different things, and I would write them in this little notepad. Did
Mhm.
this for a whole year, one whole year. And excuse me, once that year was up, I'm looking at this notepad. I'm like, okay, now Lord, what am I supposed to do with this? Because now imagine this. I'm writing this stuff down in after, you know how you half sleep. So
Yeah.
I'm writing this stuff down. So it wasn't in order. It was not in no kind of order or anything like that. It was
Mhm.
just in this book, and it was like scribble scrabble to me. And I said to
Mhm.
him, I was like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do with this. So my sister Jean was in the hospital, and I went to the hospital to visit her. And when I went to visit her, I took my notepad with me, and I'm deciding that I'm going to work on this book even more. So you know, um, I get to the hospital and I'm showing her. I'm like, she said, "What's you got?" I said, "I'm supposed to be doing something with this." I said, "I don't even know. I don't have a clue." I said, "All I know is just a bunch of scribble scrabble in the book." She said, "Let me see." She looked at it, so she started reading what I had written down and stuff. And she said, "Sis, this your book." I said, "Huh?"
Wow.
I said, "I don't how." I said, "Girl, you see that?" She said, "Oh yeah, I see it." She said, and she said, "Your title should be Little Sisters Listen Up." I said,
Wow.
"Huh?" I said, "Really?" She said, "Yes." And she said, "And you're not gonna write sister, you're gonna put sister." And so she
Mhm.
told me how to put it out there and everything. I did it just the way she told me. And so she told me, she said, "Now, when you get home tonight, you go and you pray over this and ask God, how do He want you to organize this book? How do He want you to put it together?" I went home and I started praying. I said, I'm sitting at the computer. I'm like, okay, so what am I supposed to do with this? And I'm still like, I don't get it. She said I'm supposed to pray over it, but I don't get it. So about
Mhm.
12 that night, the Spirit came to me, and the Lord started telling me. He started, man, it was so amazing. It just, I got on that computer and I just started typing everything that was on in that book onto the computer, organizing it the way He wanted it organized, and that's how Little Sisters Listen Up came about.
Wow.
Wow. That is
That's
That's
amazing.
good.
great.
Then my prophet, he read the book. So when he read the book, then he said, you should do a boys version of that book. He said, Spirit just told me to tell you, you should do a boys version to it. And I said, you think so? He said, yeah. He said, because the young men need to hear about it too.
Mhm.
And,
Mhm.
and
And
that's
you
how,
did that. You did that really fast too. The little brothers. It came to
mhm,
you know. It was like bam, bam, bam.
yeah,
Mhm.
yep. I had notes for that one as well. I had notes written down already. And I just took it from there.
Oh, that's
And
Wow.
good.
yep.
James, that's why he said, write the vision, make it plain.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
In
Mhm.
Habakkuk,
Yep.
and that's the thing when we think about it. I've heard people say, and I hear about it more now than ever, even especially on Facebook and different things. People say, "Oh, you know what? If you write down certain things, it'll come to pass." Well,
Mhm.
that's what the word says.
Yep.
So they're using the things, whether they realize it or not. They're using it
Exactly.
from the Bible. Is
Mhm.
write
Yeah.
the vision. He said, when you write it down, he said they're gonna run and tell. Somebody gonna tell what you writing. So it's
Mhm.
gonna travel. So that's all that is this things that he told you to write down. It just manifested itself, and it's gonna
And
keep on manifesting. And
and
so
like you say, they act
that's
like it's something new. But what's her name? B. Simone, she's a comedian. She
Yeah.
calls herself the manifest queen. She
Right.
talks about how she could speak it and it's some they act like it's some type of magic, but it's all God.
Yeah, exactly.
But God is not acknowledged in these people's equations. They just think it's some type of magic or whatever. But that,
But look, it's
of
the
course,
universe, and that's it's
right? Yeah. Oh Lord, we can't get into that. That's a
yeah.
whole nother show.
Yeah, so it is. It's that's important. Is what you is that you let God lead you, and not only that you got confirmation from your sister, and she was able to give you that guidance you needed. Because when you think about it, there was no real reason why you took that with you to the hospital.
Hmm.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't a reason. I just took it with me, and
Hmm.
next thing I know, I was writing it out. I was
Hmm.
writing,
Her to
talking
see
to
it.
her, and she was telling, yeah, and she was telling
Hmm.
me the order it should go.
Hmm.
Hmm.
So, Laura, speaking of family, I know that you say you and your daughter um, are co-owners of your mother-daughter team. Tell us about how that got started, how you guys started to write together.
Okay, so with the mother daughter team, we started with one book. This was our very first book, and it's so funny. This is the very first book that we wrote the night we had chicken for dinner. So
Hmm.
we done upgraded the cover since then. This is our newest cover here.
Oh,
We did it.
yeah.
So
Okay, yeah,
that's why
that's the
you
one I
said
saw.
when you were saying it was 11 books. That's why, because
Okay.
the books are different. But we started out with that book. It was my daughter was like 7 years old. She was about 6 or 7 years old, and she used to always bug me about chicken, making chicken, because she loved my fried chicken. And so she was like, she said, Ma, are you gonna cook me some chicken? I'm like, we could go to Popeyes and get you some chicken. She said, No, I want some mommy's chicken. And so I said, you know what, girl, one day I'm gonna write a book about you and your chicken, your love for chicken. This is crazy. And we was joking, so I started writing this stuff out. Every time we would talk about this chicken, I would write it out and write it on this little paper. So I started getting her input on it. She said, no, 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 put this in there and add that. And before we know it, we had typed this. I had typed this thing up, and I was showing a friend, and I was like, ain't this funny? And she said, oh Lord, this is really cute, you should get it published. I said, I don't know. I said, I don't know about that. And one of my sisters passed away. When she passed away, it really it gave me like an eye opener. It was a really eye opener, and it made me start seeing things a lot differently. um and I said, I just, I found myself in an emotional state. But then I started hearing her say, go for it, because she was always one of those sisters that would always tell me, no, you should try that. You should do that. You should go ahead, go for it. So when I lost her, I started thinking that tomorrow's not promised to none of us. So
Nope.
that's what made me start thinking about it. I started thinking about it more and more. And so one day, this lady calls me on the phone from a publishing company, and when she called, um, I was like, I started asking her, talking to her and stuff, and so she started telling me what she thought. And she said, you should give it a shot. She said, why don't you send me your manuscript, and then we take it from there. She said, and then I'll tell you if it's something you should publish or not. I said, okay. I said, okay, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that. So I send it to her. The lady called me back later on that evening, and she was cracking up laughing. She said, oh my God. She said, Laura, you have to get this published. This is so cute. She was like, oh my goodness. She said, it's family, excuse me, it's family time as well as mother daughter time. And that one thing led to another, and we just started writing the books and stuff. And then we had to come up with a name. So I was like, I like mother daughter team. And so she agreed. So we went and got the LLC for mother daughter team. LLC, and that's how we
That's
got
so
started.
cool.
Hmm.
That's really cool.
That
That's
is
that's
so
definitely cool because
cool.
that's something that your daughter will forever be a part of.
Hmm. The illustrator is actually Jay Envy. Jay Envy is the illustrator for
Oh, the guy, the
the night.
tattoo artist.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
Oh, okay.
yeah. He's the illustrator for it. Yeah,
So
and
you've
that's
been
how we
working
got.
with him for a long time.
Oh yeah, yep, yep. So yeah, so that's how we got started. And then after we wrote the night we had chicken for dinner, we wrote Shonda Simpson and the Crazy Storm. Then we went from Shonda Simpson and the Crazy Storm to Alex and her Clubhouse friends. Then there was a book that I had wrote with my son, which was called Parts of His Face. When he was like 5 years old, we had wrote this book, and we hadn't got it published yet. It was in an envelope. I had it in a yellow envelope, and that's when they used to say to
Mail
get
it to
copyright,
yourself.
mail it to yourself. So I put it in there. I put the script in there, but I never, we never wrote it. So finally, when I started writing those books, then I said, you know what, I might as well get this one published. And then we wrote one for her. But the pictures on the book of parts of her face and parts of his face is my children when they were little. So if you
Oh,
pay attention to it, yeah, it's got their pictures on there. So this is parts of her face. This was my daughter when she was younger. And
Mhm.
oh.
then parts of his face. Do I have any more? Though that one sells out really quick. The parts of his face, it sells out very fast. So I don't really have, and that's the parts of his face. And so
Mhm.
once we did that, we just started publishing the books, and before I know it, I was in there publishing, 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 and I started learning tricks and stuff about the publishing industry and stuff, and I started learning how to self-publish. And the reason why I started self-publishing because I learned that the publishing companies that the publishing company that I started out with, and I truly appreciate them because of the fact that it was a learning experience.
Mhm.
But what I learned is that they have more control over your books than you have over your books when they publish it.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
Mhm.
yeah, so that's when I started self-publishing, start doing my own thing, and I could go in there and put my own price in and things like that because I couldn't change the prices of neither one of my books or nothing.
Right. Can
The
do a
first three books,
sale.
Right. So you
right?
didn't
Because
have the control that you as the writer, the brainchild of it all, should have.
right,
Mhm.
It's kind of
exactly.
like signing a record deal, and
Yeah.
Right.
it's they
Like
got
Right.
Prince,
the upfront
yeah,
money.
like Prince was
Hmm.
complaining about why he did what he did when
Yeah.
the music industry,
Hmm.
which makes sense. It makes
Yeah.
sense.
Hmm. It
Yeah.
definitely does, especially for you to go ahead and do your own research to ensure that you keep your integrity of your product. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Because that's a
Mhm.
really big deal, especially you being an African American woman.
And the reason that was the reason why I started my own website because I started learning about that too as well. The website is make sure that you get 100% of your earnings from your book sales. Well, when you go through Amazon and these other places and stuff, you're not getting 100% of your sales back.
Absolutely
You're
not.
getting a
Absolutely
percentage.
not.
Right.
And
Mhm.
so because you're getting a percentage, I just started promoting my website more. And that's the reason why I promote my website, or I'll tell you that you can inbox me and we could do a cash app and I can just mail it to you. That's why I do it that way because the publishing when you go through those uh Amazon and Walmart and all those places, the author of the books doesn't get 100% of
Right.
their earnings. They get
Yeah.
like a percentage of it.
Hmm.
So and they get most of your percentage themselves,
That's
the
right.
Amazon and Walmart and all those places. So
Yeah.
you start learning different things as you start doing your own research. You start learning these things.
But what was your biggest challenge with like once you started to learn, what do you think is your biggest challenge with your books and stuff like that in writing?
Finding honest people to work with.
Wow.
Yeah. I've been working with the same illustrator now um for I think me and her been working together about mm, probably about 8 or 9 years now. Eight, probably eight or about 8 or about between 7 and 8 years. We've been working together. And you talking about somebody. Now the funny thing is she don't live here in the United States.
Oh
But guess
wow.
what? Our relationship is so awesome. This young lady, I can bounce a question off her and she'll tell me, she said, no, Laura, I wouldn't trust them. She'll tell me that in a minute. When there are people that I've known all my life that I can't even do that with.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And it's sad, but it's true. this
Mhm.
Oh
this
yeah.
woman, she, if I say, well, I need to do so and so, and I don't know how to do it, she'll say, okay, we'll look into it. She'll go, it's nighttime here, right? I'm like, oh no, I didn't know if it's nighttime. She goes, it's nighttime here, so I'll get back to you in the morning. I'm like, okay, that's cool, that's fair. But yeah, that's who, that's just it. You got to find the right people. It's finding the right people that's important, because you get so many people that'll scam you.
Yeah.
I have ran into so many scammers in the last couple of years. You know,
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that
So they
that's
have ulterior motives.
That's
yeah,
something else behind it.
yeah. You have people that actually watch your pages. They watch your pages. They see what kind of stuff you're doing. I have had people that actually said to me, I have looked over your whole entire page already, and I thought that you would be a great fit for my company, and this and that. And then come to find out they were a scammer.
But is it me, or does that come off as a little stalkerish, or is that just normal
It
for?
does. It come off stalkerish. At first you're not thinking about it like that. You're
Right.
not
Yeah.
thinking. You're not seeing people like that. You don't want to see people
You
like that.
don't
First
want
of
to.
all,
That's
you
right. I
want to
get
try
it.
and give everybody a chance. You want to
Benefit.
Mhm.
try and trust people and stuff.
Give them the
But
benefit of the doubt.
Benefit of the doubt.
exactly.
Mhm.
But there are so many people out here that are out here to scam. I've actually lost what in the last 3 years ago. I lost about 50, what was it, $1,500 on somebody that scammed me. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, that
Then
ain't
I
no chump change.
no, it's not. No,
Mhm.
it's not. But you know what? I'm gonna tell you something. The Lord is good,
Amen.
because He gave me that 1,500 back and then some. So I'm not tripping.
Yeah.
So
Hmm.
when people think they doing you wrong, just remember, karma is a mug with itself, because it comes back, and it
That's
come
true.
back worse to you. So you
And
got to be careful how you do people. I would rather you tell me, hey, I'm short on some money. Can you loan me some money, rather
Right.
than to try and scam me?
yeah.
That makes me angry, because I work hard. I've been working hard for a long time on what I do. I work
Mhm.
hard at it. And so
Mhm.
when I make my money, I I expect to spend my money on stuff that I want to spend it on, not give it away to you because you're scamming me.
Right.
No. Mm-mm.
Yeah, and that's what's real. People doing it every day. And I'm like, why don't you get your own job and stop trying to take from other people?
Yeah.
And some
You
of
know.
them, they so good at it to where you be like, you put that much effort into something more positive, it'll be just
Right.
Yeah,
as lucrative.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I understand what you mean as far as the scamming thing. I've run across that a few times with people looking over, like, even my website and sending
Mm-hmm.
me propositions and things. But
Mm-hmm.
um, I already don't trust it. So I'm
Yeah.
like, especially
Yeah.
when it's something, not in the United States, especially.
Yeah, the guy told me,
Exactly.
this guy told me that I know, he said, I know Spike Lee, I know so and so, and he was naming all these people. So he started telling me that he could help me get my book, Little Sisters Listen Up, into a movie and this and that and yada yada. Never did he say anything about that. You have to have, there's a difference between a manuscript for a stage play, a manuscript for a book, a manuscript for a screenplay. There
Mhm.
is a difference between all three of those scripts. They have to
Mhm.
be set up totally different in order for you to put it together, put
Mhm.
put it into one of those forms of entertainment. Well, this person didn't explain to me none of that, but they was telling me that, oh yeah, yeah, we could do this and we could do that. So this person was so um he was
Crap.
so out of control. It wasn't even funny. He started harassing me constantly. And it had got so bad. It was really, really bad.
Yeah,
Wow,
Yeah.
that sounds
you do. You have
intense.
to be. You really do have to be careful because you don't you
Mhm.
never know. People are what they call coat hangers. They if they get a latch on to you and they get you right,
One.
they can do
Uh-huh.
some damage.
Yeah, and if you give it to them one time, then they figure that, oh, I can suck them for some more. And but
Hmm.
when I
Mm,
started
mm,
telling
mm.
them that, well, we know where you at now. We're gonna come down there so we can have a conversation. He didn't want. Oh man, he told me, oh no no, we not gonna do that one. We don't do that. I don't meet with people.
Mm-mm-mm. That's
I
Yep,
said,
unfortunate, but that's it's great that you still persevere through all of those different trials and tribulations, and you still aspiring and continue to do more. So a lot of
mhm,
people don't have that story. Some people, the first time there's a hiccup, they just are like, I can't
mhm,
do it, or I'm not going to do it. And so for you to, you know,
exactly.
have children, have all these your hand on these different things, and you know, do all that you do. Not a lot of people can say that they have tried or even given themselves a shot because sometimes some people shoot themselves down before they even get a chance to keep going.
Mhm.
That's
yeah,
true.
yeah,
And so being that you had an idea and
It
you know
fell.
at first it's kind of like ah no I don't but you took a chance, you took a chance on yourself, but who better to take a chance on you than you.
That's
yeah.
true.
That's
Very
true.
true. And you can easily do self sabotaging, or you can do self gratification and then building your own self up. So you know, like you said, who's better to inspire you than you?
Yeah.
Right.
Hmm.
It's
Yeah.
And
just
you
like with the it's
do
just like
yourself.
with the podcast thing. When I started the podcast thing, I want to thank the lady that actually helped me get started because um and her name is Miss Katie. Miss If it wasn't for Miss Katie even saying to me, coming to me, I had an interview with her. I did an interview with this lady. And so when I did that interview with her, she came to me and suggested that I start a podcast. I didn't know nothing about no podcast. And I told her, I said, I was honest. I said, I don't know nothing about podcasts. I said, I'm so confused. She said, I'm going to teach you. So she showed me a lot of the steps. And then there, do you know, sometimes you're not meant to jail with some people, and you love them, but you got to love them from a distance. And
Yeah.
that's the situation with her and I had to love her from a distance.
Yeah.
Um no ill feelings, none of that, because I appreciate that woman. If it wasn't for her, I wouldn't have never thought about, this is the crazy part though. I'm gonna tell y'all something. This is the crazy part about the podcast thing. So I had spoke to my illustrator maybe a year before I even ran into her, before I even ran into Miss Katie. I had spoke to my illustrator and I told her, I said, I want you to create this picture for me. The picture you see up there, the logo, she
Mhm.
created that years ago. She had
Mm.
created this because I had this vision in my mind, but I didn't know that it was going to be something that the Lord was going to manifest for me. I didn't know that part. I just knew I had this vision. And so I'm giving her this description of what I wanted in this this design. And so she was like, she said, okay, I could do that. So originally it had just a picture of myself in a dark and in red. I had on my red and white, and there was a mic there, and it said Inspirational Talks with Laura Simmons on there. And but after me and Miss Katie went our own separate ways, I began to think to myself. I said, okay, so what else should I do, Lord? What should I? And that's when the spirit gave me the idea of Inspirational Talks with Laura Simmons and friends. So I went and I got the copyrights to it. I went and did uh the LLC is in the process right now. And I did GoDaddy. I went on GoDaddy and I took care of that as well. But it all started with a vision that I had a long time ago. And it's just funny because you know that saying, they say God put people in places in your
Mhm.
path
Your
for a
path
reason.
for a reason.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and he put her in that path to show
for
me
that
what I was
season.
supposed to do with that
Mhm.
picture, because I had it in my phone. It had been in my phone for a long time, and my illustrator had already did this design for me. It's
Mhm.
Hmm.
just I didn't know what it was going to be used for. I just knew
Right.
that I wanted this design.
Yeah.
Mm. Yeah. So sometimes it's not. What does it say? It's not always when God is always there when you need Him. Hold on, I'm saying it wrong. Hold on a second. But He's always on time. Is my point.
That's right.
it's not. It's not when you necessarily looking for that
Mhm.
instant gratification. God ain't
May
gonna give it
not
to you
come when
like
you
that.
want him, but he always on
Yeah,
time.
Time.
that's right.
Yeah.
So so there, it's on. This is on time, and it
Yeah.
was
Mhm.
definitely on time from that situation too.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? That's just like what I said one time before. I said you have leeches and you have teachers. She was a teacher, even if she didn't realize it.
Right.
All she was supposed to do is give. She was supposed to plant the seed and
Mhm.
let God get the increase. See,
Yeah.
a lot of times people don't realize they are not meant to stay with you. Some are
Mhm.
meant to stay with you, but some are meant to just plant and go.
Yeah.
And sometimes we want to keep hold on to those who's supposed to go. We want to
That's
hold
right.
on, but they supposed to just plant and go.
Go. Yeah.
Hmm.
And that's what she did. She planted and she left. And and that's when and what you had to do is grab a hold of what God had given you through her
Mhm.
and grab hold it with both hands and don't let go. And
Yeah.
that's what you did.
Yeah.
And it
So
just made
Laura, what are you working on now? Tell us a little bit about this upcoming movie.
Okay, so right now I'm in the middle of producing my very first movie. Um it's a project right now. It's a little project because we're actually doing like a fundraiser. We're trying to raise some funds for this to do the project because it's going to take a little money. And I also actually I have several projects going on right now. We also have a part two coming out to Little Sisters Listen Up.
Oh,
We
cool.
have already started the process on that, and actually we're saying that it should be out sometime at the end of March.
Okay.
Hmm.
Um, Also, I have like another book that I did with my grandbabies. It's a very interesting book. I can't tell y'all anything about that one because we're still in the process of how we're gonna take this book. So, but the the cover is really it's amazing.
All
So
right, that sounds
Oh,
very good.
yeah,
Mhm.
so I'm
That sounds very
excited,
oh.
and I'm looking to take inspirational talks with Laura Simmons and friends. I'm looking to take that into a bigger platform. You know, I have a vision. I have a bigger vision than just the podcast. I have a very big vision, and I'm just hoping that things work fall into place as God's plan.
Yeah.
okay.
And it will.
Mhm.
It
Yep.
will, and it's gonna take it takes time, but
Mhm.
I got faith in you, girl.
Amen. Hey, Danielle.
Congratulations. Sounds amazing.
Thank you, Danielle. Yeah, but it's so funny. You guys don't even know how it feels. It's an amazing feeling, and all that I've been going through for this last month has been it has been an experience that I won't forget. Um, but I also know that God is still in control. I
Absolutely.
also know that um, when there's rain, there's usually sunlight.
That's right.
Hmm.
So I know that the storm I know my storm is over. It's over already, and God
Yeah.
is getting ready to open some doors that I didn't couldn't open, that I've been trying to open for a little while here, but I had forget. What I did was, the reason why I couldn't get through them doors is because I forgot to put them first. So
Mhm.
now I'm putting him first. Before I make a step, I put him first. Then I let him guide me and tell me, okay, now that's the step you need to take.
Right.
That's the step you need to take. I'm not trying to walk out there by myself now.
Mhm.
Before I thought that I could do it by myself, honestly. That was what I was thinking at first. But then I realized that I remember the moments when I was a kid and I used to see my mom, and she would get in the corner and she would go in the corner and she would start praying.
Mhm.
And she when she would pray, all of a sudden something happened. The
Mm.
mountain moves. She used
Mhm.
to always tell us that a little mustard seed of faith can
Move
blossom into
mountains.
something huge. And
Mm-hmm.
so now when I move, I make sure that I move in faith. I move whatever I do, I'm moving in faith. I'm moving with with God first. I'm letting him lead the way, and I'm asking
Amen.
him for directions before I make a step.
Who would you like to work with? Like, you got so much stuff going on. You're obviously very talented. Who would you like to work with in the next coming years?
Um well, Tyler Perry don't know this yet, but me and him gonna work together very soon.
Okay.
Um Spike Lee don't know it either yet, but I'm gonna be
Okay.
working with
Okay.
him very soon.
Okay. Okay.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
I'm actually gonna do a show with Kevin Hart too. But he
Okay.
don't know it yet. He just haven't figured it out yet. But
Mhm.
it's coming, you
Well,
know.
All
that's
right.
what the word says. Call those things be not as though they were.
Right.
Yep.
So you speaking it into the atmosphere, all it's doing is going to manifest, is going to take hold, and that's what's going to
Yeah.
happen. So
Amen.
Mm-hmm.
you got to do
Yeah.
it. You when you say it, he said, whatever you say, believe in doubt not, you're going to have what you say. So that's what you're going to say. What you already said it. It's in the atmosphere. It will manifest.
Amen.
Yeah.
Danielle Johnson said, "Hello, all. You can do it, Laura Bell, Laura Simmons, the author." And she said, "Amen. That's right. Seek him first."
That's right.
Amen.
Man.
Amen.
Yeah. But
So,
yeah.
Laura,
Uh-huh.
so please give your social media information. I know you do every week, but maybe we have new listeners, and I know that so many people are going to watch this later because you have a lot of devoted followers on
Absolutely.
all of your social media. So please tell us where you can be found on all social media platforms.
Okay, so on Facebook, I am Laura Simmons, the author. On Instagram, I am the Mother Daughter Team LLC. On YouTube, I am Laura Simmons, the author. And oh no, on YouTube, I'm Mother Daughter Team, and I'm Inspirational Talks with Laura Simmons and Friends on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And our website is www.motherdaughterteambooks.com. And we have another website, which is www.motherdaughterteamllc.com. So I'm going to put them into the
Okay, to the
thing so
chat.
that yeah.
Okay, awesome. Well, as you can see, it's time to wind down. I want to thank you again for coming to your show. It was a pleasure to talk to you in a different light on your show.
Mhm.
I want to say I appreciate you for so many things. I absolutely appreciate you for always dragging me, and I do mean dragging, because y'all don't know. Laura will make a deal with somebody, be like, "Yep, me and Ursula gonna do it." I'm like, but that shows that just her heart. She, me the way, and I should have told this story, but because we don't have that much time, but me and Laura connected, and we've known each other on another platform, but
Mhm.
she's always told me, when I make it, you gonna make it. It's enough out here for all of us, and I want to always help, and that's what her heart is about. And I just want to tell you that I appreciate you. Do you
Oh,
ladies have anything you want to say? We're about to be out of time.
I do appreciate you for bringing me along too.
Um,
You too.
So,
And just
you
be
know, it's
encouraged.
definitely a step outside of my comfort zone, but I'm here for it.
Yeah, me too. That's
Yes.
that
what's
is so funny though, you guys. So you two especially, it's funny because I know that both of y'all stepping out of y'all comfort zone. Ursula, on the other hand, I knew that she could do this. That's the reason why I said, "Oh, you gonna do this, Ursula? Ursula, we gonna do this together." Ursula, like, what? Yeah, you done just made plans. I'm like, yeah, we gonna do this together, girl.
One another author was like, Laura said y'all we gonna have a partnership. I'm like, huh?
Yeah.
You ain't told me. But anyway, thank you all for joining us again for another successful show. Thank you. We couldn't do it without you guys. Thank you guys for joining us. Come back on Thursday. Who do we have on Thursday? I know our time is about out,
We
but
got Jessica Williams, makeup artist out of Chicago.
awesome. That's gonna be a good show. So y'all come
Oh
on back
yeah.
Thursday. Same channel, same bat time.
Yeah.
And we will see y'all. We love y'all. Thank y'all so much for y'all support. Thank you, Laura.
Thank you guys. I appreciate you
All right.
guys. Love you
Danielle said,
guys.
always amazing and very inspirational, Laura Bell. That girl got talent. Good night. Good night,
Good night,
Good night, Miss
Crystal.
Crystal. She said, great show.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Mwah. Love y'all. Bye
Love
bye.
y'all.
Bye,
All right.
everybody.